So our program tonight, it's the middle, or it's actually the end of January. So what does that mean to bonsai people? It means repotting. If you haven't started repotting, it's, you better start thinking about it. I haven't started, but I'm going to get into the serious repot mode this week, because everything's starting to bud out early. It's been really warm. Trees are budding out. Your deciduous trees especially, those need to be repotted first. So if you're repotting, what does that mean? That means you need to choose a pot to put your tree in. And when we initially started planning this program, it sounded like a very straightforward thing to do. Well, not so much. Once we started thinking about it, it's really a very complex subject. One of the things that makes it so complex is it's what you want to do with your tree. What stage of development is your tree in? If your tree is in early stages of development, you want to do one thing. Later stages of development, you want to do something else. So it all depends on what your plan for development is of your tree and your ultimate goal. So that can cover a wide range of things. It can cover anything from like a pond basket, some little cheap pond basket for developing the tree, to an antique Chinese pot for a very well-developed tree. Anywhere from a few bucks, maybe to a few $100. So a lot of things to think about when you're repotting. We don't really have, in the time we have allotted for this evening, we really do not have time to go through everything. So Carmen and I are focusing on trees that are in later stages of development. We want pot selection for trees that are in refinement, and choosing containers, choosing bonsai containers, choosing pots that actually accent the artistic presentation of the tree. So that's going to be our focus tonight. But to get started, I was going to quickly go over growing containers just very quickly, because you may be interested in using some of these things for your repotting chores. So first things we have, yeah, I'm forgetting, I'm getting prompted, that's okay. Anyway, let's say you have a tree like this. If you're satisfied with this tree like this little, very immature tree, and you're happy with it, that's cool. But if you have this tree and you want something like this tree, then you got a lot of work to do. And that was going to require growing the tree. And, you don't want to keep it in a small little pot like this if you want it to grow well. So growing containers, we have all different variety of growing containers. And most of your growing containers are inexpensive. What makes them good is that, like pond baskets, wooden boxes, you can make these out of old fence wood, whatever. Anderson flats, aerated, nice aeration in the bottom. Put something in this, set it on the ground. The roots can grow through the bottom into the ground, and they grow faster. We have fabric baskets or fabric bags for things. These come in all different sizes. This one's kind of huge, but you can actually get them down to like 1 gallon size and everything. So these are, just some suggestions for trees in development. Yeah, also have plastic pots you can get. You can get all assortment of different plastic pots. And the thing that really helps a tree to grow quickly is to have good aeration, good drainage. That's what makes a tree grow fast. So that's why those kinds of things are really good for developing trees, because they will grow fast. Once you get the tree kind of into a mid stage of development, say you have the trunk developed, you have your girth of your trunk, the majority of this is already developed, but now you have to go into refinement. Yep. And, this was a tree I got. It had really horrible branches, so we had to cut it all the way back and start all over developing branches. It had a huge wound here, which is healed now. I treated this. I filled it with concrete and put tree sealer, cut paste on it, and it has sealed beautifully. But that's because I was letting it grow. I have it in a pot that is probably too small. I put it in this pot last year. But I'm going to repot it this year into a larger growing pot, just so it'll grow a little bit faster. Working on developing the branches. You see all of these things sticking out here because we have to get some of the lower branches to increase in girth, so it's proportional to the trunk. So that's where putting it in a good growing container will help you develop the tree faster. This tree is pretty well developed, working on some of the finer ramification, but we can actually put this in a nice pot now because it doesn't really have to grow fast. It's kind of where it's supposed to be, except for some of the ramification. So anyway, that's growing pots, intermediate growing pots. Carmen's going to share a PowerPoint presentation with some of the basic rules for selecting pots to complement trees in later stages of development. The PowerPoint Carmen and I prepared uses photos of member trees that we got from some of our shows and events from the past. So we tried to use member trees where we could. The outline or the presentation, the PowerPoint is based on an outline that was prepared by one of our members, Bob Bugay, about 10, 15 years ago. And it was a very concise outline. So we kind of used that and then enhanced it with photos and stuff like that. So,
okay, I think we're there.
So, okay.
All right, so here's going to be our slideshow with Bob's outline that we have added to. All right, so we're going to start with the basic design combination of a bonsai and a pot. And we've got hold on a second, I need to move you all down to the bottom. Okay, so we're going to start with the mathematical golden ratio that's often used in art and design to create a balanced, aesthetically pleasing composition. So without using a lot of math, this is the formula. The pot width should be 2/3 of the tree height. In this case, the pot is, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, this is it. The pot, the pot width should be 2/3 of the tree's height. The pot width is 6 inches and the tree height is 9 inches. The pot height in this case is 2 inches. That should equal the diameter of the trunk, which is also 2 inches. The pot depth from front to back should be slightly narrower than the tree's canopy. So for a bonsai that has a classic look, this formula can work. On my next slide, but here we have stretched out our golden ratio pot. But the thing is, the surface area for the front of the 3 pots, what you see is the same, and all 3 of them were 12 inches. But when you look at these, the visual weight of the pots has dramatically changed. So the pot on the right looks much lighter than the pot on the left, and the original one's even deeper. So it's kind of an interesting, it's almost an optical illusion, but you have to use it for your bonsai. So the more a bonsai doesn't fit into the classic style, such as like one with a very wide canopy, broad nabari, or a sumo style, you'll probably have to reconsider the size of pot that looks the best. So like Renee's beefy trident maple out there, it's short with a very wide trunk and base. So a pot as deep as what you would use with the ratio probably isn't going to work. You're going to have to think about what looks best for the tree. We stole these from a Kokofu book. And then these two bonsai have very different looks. So we can describe them in terms that can also be used to describe their pots. I'm going to start with the conifer. It's a formal upright style that is fairly static with no movement. The trunk is very thick and the foliage is dense. I would say the trunk is the focal point. So just describing this, I would call it strong, dense, heavy, and masculine. Looking at the deciduous tree is an informal upright style with a lot of movement. The trunks are thin with not a lot of taper. The movement and the flowers, I think, are the focal point. So in descriptive terms, I would call this elegant, airy, delicate, and feminine. So now let's look at the pots. With conifer, very, very simple, deep unglazed rectangle with sharp edges and very plain feet. And its feel is dense, strong, and heavy. The deciduous pot is a blue glazed oval with high rounded feet. It has all curves. It's nothing but curves. The shape of the lip has some interest. The feet raise the pot up, which lightens the visual weight. It feels elegant and delicate. So for this talk, we're considering the tree and the pot as a composition. So one way to do that is to condense the description of the tree or pot as a percentage of masculine versus feminine. And I know the terminology of describing a bonsai as masculine or feminine is kind of sexist and archaic. It's been used for decades in Japan, so I'm going to apologize in advance and go ahead and use it. So I'm using these two examples as extremes. As a percentage masculine or feminine, I think both conifer and its pot are 100% masculine, while the ume and its pot are 100% feminine. This is totally subjective and a personal exercise, but it can help to distill the essence of a tree in a pot. And we're going to do that a little bit more coming up. So now let's divide all pots into glazed or unglazed. On the left is glazed, on the right is unglazed. So an unglazed pot, conifers typically get potted in an unglazed container, but almost every tree may be potted in an unglazed container and it could be all right. An unglazed container, the pots show the clay that they are made of and the different firing techniques used. The colors can vary, but are usually earth tone with a dull or rough surface. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to consider the design combinations of these two conifers in relation to our strong versus elegant percentage rating. So let's look at the tree on the left. It has a very large base, which I consider to be the focal point, strong directional movement, and an open, airy feeling. So what percentage am I going to give this? I'm going to make it arbitrarily 70% masculine, 30% feminine. The pot is deep, unglazed with simple feet, which are strong. It's an oval with a flared lip and sides, a midrib and a rib just above the feet, which make it somewhat elegant, especially the oval size. So I'm going to call it 50-50. So could be a little bit better fit. The tree on the right has a long curving trunk without much taper. I consider the focal point the trunk movement and the shari. Because it's a conifer, that gives it more weight. So I'm going to say 40% masculine, 60% feminine. But the pot it's in is a deep unglazed rectangle with slightly rounded corners. There's a midrib and the edges of the pot are curved in towards the bottom. So that's more masculine. I'm going to say that, and the shape of the pot carries a lot of weight. So we're going to call that 60% masculine, 40% feminine. So as opposed to the last two, you can see how subjective this is. And mostly it depends on how much weight you give to each element of the tree and pot. But it's something to think about. So I was considering that maybe the pot on the right should actually be on the left. I don't know what any of you think, and vice versa. Just switch pots and make it the size that would fit the trees, as if you had all these spots. We were commenting that the tree on the left needs more ramification of the foliage, and the denser that is, the more masculine that tree will look, which will change the look dramatically, and it would need a more masculine pot. Okay. Now, a glazed pot. Glazed containers may be used to accent a particular tree for foliage, fruit, flowers, or bark, mostly used for broadleaf evergreen and deciduous trees. And then we're going to talk about the different colors that they come in. Color can be used in a contrasting way or in a harmonizing way. The difference will be in the feeling or mood that your tree will present. The top trident maple is in a contrasting dark blue pot. Because the tree is large, the contrast of the pot does not overwhelm the tree, but adds interest. The Grove's cream pot harmonizes with the white trunks, and the repetitive color of cream has an overall calming effect, which is what you would want, I would think, in a grove. Here we have two white pots. They are mostly for fruiting, flowering, deciduous trees. But white pots are kind of color neutral and will work with almost all deciduous trees. You can see it. Okay, so here we have blue pots, and we're considering the dark color. A pot with a dark hue has more visual weight, whereas light hue pots may contrast more.
Excuse me.
Renee's playing, so because I can't read what's on top, so we're just dealing with this. You should avoid putting plants with blue flowers in blue pots, well, not too many trees with blue flowers.
Think of blue flowers. I can't think of blue flowers.
All right, so green pots are somewhat difficult because they can clash with the green foliage. So on this one, you see the one on the left, it's totally different color green. It doesn't really clash because it's different enough that it's okay. The one on the right is a very pale hue, and those leaves are kind of a dark green with red, and that actually goes well also. So deciduous trees have many color changes throughout the seasons. So the green color may work best only for fall or spring leaf color. And then you have the winter silhouette, which you can also consider when you're choosing a pot. Was that oval pots?
Basic pot shapes.
Yeah. All right, yeah, shapes. Here we go. So we're gonna just go through the basics. So rectangular pots are used for strong imposing masculine trees, formal or informal upright styles. Trees with massive trunks, Genishari, normally conifers. Then this is my Scots pine, and this is a very formal upright and a very masculine pot. Oval pots are used for softer, more feminine type trees. Shallow oval glazed pots are used for group plantings. A broom style can be done in an oval or a round. Delicate, intricate pots are best with twiggy trees such as apricots, pistachios, plums, and dwarf citrus. Windswept or slanting style trees are often planted in oval pots. And I was going to make a comment that looking at this tree, the pot seems very small for the foliage canopy, but it would be interesting to see how it looks without leaves and maybe trim back in winter silhouette. So you have to, again, consider when you're going to be showing this or what you want to accentuate in your tree. Okay, round pots. Usually for bunjin. They can be glazed or unglazed. So as opposed to a rectangle or oval pots, a round pot has no front other than the feet. So a pot without an obvious directional bias works well for bunjin, excuse me. Cascade pots can be round, square, hexagonal. The pot should be taller than its width across, and the height of the pot should be greater or less than the length of the cascade, not the same. So the tree on the left has foliage that falls below the base of the pot. The tree on the right, the foliage ends above the base of the pot. So those are both acceptable. Okay, that's the basics. Renee and I have spent countless hours enjoyable hours using Photoshop to present a few of our bonsai with different pot options. And we would love to have your opinion after we finish each tree's selections. So Renee is going to start. And there we go.
Okay, so time to choose a pot. But before choosing a pot, you really want to spend some time evaluating your tree, because that's going to determine a lot about the type of pot that you select. Formal upright, informal upright, slanting or cascade. Other types of plantings may include group or raft styles, which we'll be looking at a group, kind of a group planting later on in our program. Root over rock. Look at your tree in terms of contrasting elements. Is it masculine or feminine? Strong, powerful, heavy, or delicate and light? What colors are there on your tree, and do they change during the year? Colors in the tree can appear in the foliage, the bark, flowers, and fruits. Lastly, does your tree project any certain kind of feeling which can be expressed in the feel of the pot? So, oops, oh shoot.
Told you that would happen.
Yep. So for, this is one tree that I'm going to be repotting this year. It's my Korean hornbeam. I want to just say that I kind of have a little bit of red-green color blindness. So sometimes the way I see things isn't the way everybody else sees them. So just keep that in mind. So let's take a close look at the hornbeam. Let's evaluate the tree. I would say it's an informal upright. It does have some masculine features, although it is a deciduous tree. It has kind of masculine features in the heavy base, but it also has feminine features. The leaves are small and delicate, and if it were in winter silhouette, you could see the delicate fine twigging. So it's a combination masculine feminine. So an appropriate pot for this tree would have both masculine and feminine qualities. The pot that it's currently in is a Yozon pot. It's a high quality Japanese pot. It is a rectangle with nice straight sides, no embellishments, very simple feet. Those are masculine qualities. Feminine qualities is that it is a cream color. So it's kind of a masculine pot. It complements the trunk. It's the masculinity of the trunk, but it isn't exactly, it doesn't really have the feminine qualities that would complement the foliage. So I chose this pot basically because it was square, it was rectangle, it's cream. The rectangle square complemented the masculine part of the tree. The cream complemented the foliage and the twigginess of the tree. But I've had, some of my friends think that I could find a better pot for this. And since I'm going to repot it this year, decided that we can look at other pots for this tree and see if I can make my friends happy. Carmen. Okay, so here we have a blue rectangle with cut corners. The masculine qualities of this pot, it's a rectangle with pretty straight sides to it. Feminine qualities, it is glazed. It does have cut corners and it has more delicate feet. So there are feminine qualities to this pot that kind of complement the tree. I ask myself if this is this harmonized? I want you guys to ask yourself, is this a harmonizing color or is this a contrasting color?
It doesn't work.
And does it work? Yes. So next pot is an unglazed tan rectangle with ribs. Masculine qualities of this pot, it is rectangle and it's unglazed. However, it has a lot of feminine qualities to it. The ribs along the sides soften the look of the pot. It has kind of delicate feet with the ribs. And if you can see, there's kind of a landscape design in the side that, you know, lightens it up and makes it more feminine looking. The color, I want you guys to ask if it's harmonizing or contrast, and does this pot work with this tree? Next pot is a cream rectangle with a lip. Masculine qualities of this pot, it's a rectangle. It's a rectangle with simple feet. Feminine qualities, it's a cream glaze with a nice flared lip. I want you to ask, is this harmonizing or contrasting color? And does it work? Okay, this is an oval brown with a midrib. Masculine qualities of this pot are unglazed. It's brown. It has minimal feet. Feminine qualities, it's oval with a midrib, which gives it a little bit of feminine qualities. Ask yourself, is this harmonizing or contrasting? And does this pot work with this tree? So here we have all 4 pots. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you guys to look at this. I would like for people to comment and tell me what they like, what they don't like. You can speak up and give your opinions here. If anybody out there has opinions, somebody's got to have an opinion. Does anybody have an opinion?
Number 1, I felt like it was quite drastic with the blue. It definitely went against harmonizing. It's not harmonizing.
Okay. So other than the color,
Yeah.
do you think, any other thoughts about the pot?
Looks a little small, too small for it.
Okay. Anybody else? Oh, well, the person that just commented, what would be your choice? Which one of these pots do you like the best?
I felt like 2 felt right.
2 felt right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Size and color.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
I liked number 3, which is very close to what you had originally. I love that color with the tree.
Mhm.
Number 4 was a little too contrasting. Number 2, I actually thought was a little big, but you know, I'm still a beginner, so that's
Well,
my
okay.
2 cents.
This is what you guys have to keep in mind, that this is very subjective. You know, it depends on the person, you know, that's picking the pot, and you know what you like for the tree, and it can be totally different. Depending on what you like.
We like number 3 the best because it shows off the tree. Number 2, we think it blends, the pot just blends in with the tree. A tree blends with the pot.
Too much harmony.
Doesn't show off either one.
Not
And
enough.
number 4, I think it's too brown.
Mhm.
It's a wrong color of brown, I think. But we like number 3 the best.
But the shape of number 4 is nice.
It just it's balanced.
Mhm.
Number 4, the shape of the pot, I think is really very nice, and it complements the tree real well, except for the color. If it was a cream colored pot, I think it would work out very, very well.
Mhm. Okay. Any other?
I agree. I think number 3 just looks the nicest.
Okay.
Number 4 is too dark.
Okay.
I like the depth of number 3, but I like the shape. I was waiting for a round or oval pot as well.
In the best of circumstances, we could change them.
Yeah.
Make it an oval.
Yeah, and an oval pot would look very nice with this tree as well. You know, one of the reasons that I chose square is because a lot of my deciduous trees are in oval pots. And so I wanted something for variety on my benches. I didn't want everything in an oval green pot. So that's one of the reasons why I initially, with the pot that it's in now is in a square pot, just because I wanted variety. And that's another thing to keep in mind when you're repotting. You know, you don't have to put your tree back in the same pot every year. You can put it in something different for variety. It's nice to look at it in a different pot. You know, you're gonna have it that way for a whole year. So anyway, anybody else have any comments? Love to hear opinions.
I really like number 2.
Number 2, okay. Okay,
Part of it's the color, part of it's the size. And I think there's enough light color in that pot that, and I'd like to see the pot up closer, but I think there's enough light color in the pot that it works for me. Number 3, I'd like to see a little larger pot, but I like the color of that as well.
okay.
I like the number 2 as well. The number 2 reflects the color better for this time of year, and it would do really well with green. It also gives the soil body a little more room to breathe and accents the width of the tree.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Love the comments. So, so now it's my turn. And I've decided, you know, for this year, I'm going to put it in number 3. This is actually Carmen's pot. You know, one of the things I wanted to say before we got started with all of this that I forgot to say is that one of the drawbacks of having this program in Zoom is that you cannot see the actual quality of the pot. You can't see the clay, you know, and the glaze and the patina on the pot. You know, we lose a lot with the photos. And the cream pot on number 3 is a beautiful Yamaaki cream pot, and it has a lot of nice patina that doesn't show up here, which really looks very nice. I like the flared lip. You know, personally, I like the flared lip, you know, flaring out because I think it presents the tree very well. So I'm going to put it in this pot this year. Who knows, next time I repot it, I might put it in this rectangle pot, just so I can look at it differently. So anyway, I guess we'll move on. It's Carmen's turn.
I can just, you want to sit there?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my flowering plum, and this picture was taken a number of years ago, so it's even better. But deciduous flowering, the pot it's in actually looks really nice. It's a little big, but we're growing, and it's a robin's egg blue, beautifully feminine. Unfortunately, it's incredibly clunky, cheap, thick pot. So this is not going to work down the line, and it's looking much better now. I need a better pot. So let's see what we can find. All right. I have this pot. It's a rectangular blue glazed with a midrib. Unfortunately, I love the color, but it's very, very masculine. The only thing feminine about it, it has a curve to the side a little bit and a midrib. So, but it fits the tree. So let's see what else we have. We have an olive green glazed oval. The picture's a little odd. It's a Sarah Rayner pot. I like the shape of it. So it's more feminine. It's got the nice lip and it's got the curves. A simple foot, but that's okay because it's wider. So that kind of works. It kind of grounds it like it's in a meadow. All right, our next pot. This is a blue-green soft rectangle. This is pretty dramatic, but boy, the flowers really pop with this one. It's feminine, just very softly, not a lot of detail, simple, but the glaze probably says it all. And it fits the tree well. All right, next one is a light green oval. We call this a bag pot, similar to the other one, but it's deeper. And the yellow, it's not really yellow. You're going to see it out in the garage when we do our next section. It's kind of a light green. I really fell in love with it, but I don't have a tree to put it in. So that was an option for this tree also. All right.
Next.
Here's our four pots. So let's hear it,
Think about it for a minute.
or not.
I like the color in number 3 right away.
Yeah, isn't that something it's very striking?
You have to think about what it's gonna look like without the flowers, with leaves.
And that's, oh, I meant to say that. Thanks, that's Kitty. Yeah, for when it first comes out in flowers, there's almost no leaves. So the leaves aren't too much of an issue. This is already probably past its peak. And that's why the green isn't quite so critical on that. And it has yellow fall color.
Then the number 3 would overshadow the tree. The pot would then be dominant over the tree, which you don't want.
It contrasts. And contrast adds interest. That's why the blue, I really love the blue. It's a dark hue, but it really goes contrast.
Yeah,
with
that
white.
one would be good.
The what?
I like the darker blue.
Yeah, and that would go well in the fall with the yellow.
Yeah.
It loses its leaves pretty quickly, so it's a small window.
Just so you know, people are saying what ones they like in chat, and
Okay.
every tree is getting a hit, every one of the choices.
Every one of them. Somebody likes every one of them. Huh? See, this is
That's again.
proves the point. It proves the point. It's so subjective. It depends on your eye and what is,
In a perfect world, if I could have about 1,000 pots, I would pick the second one in a different color because I like the shape and the size, but I would prefer that in a shade of blue, probably.
It's a good color for all around tree though. For the whole year, the tree's gonna look good no matter what color the tree turns.
That's true, it does. It
I
does.
love that pot. Number 2, that's a beautiful pot.
See, I see it in real life and it's kind of a green gray. And it looks different. Actually, I think it's out in the garage too, so maybe I'll show it to everybody, but
yeah.
It's toned though, isn't it?
it's what?
Isn't there different tones in it?
Yes,
Yes.
it's a Sarah Rainer.
Yeah.
pot. It's very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay,
And number 1 is pretty though.
yeah, but totally wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
You don't want to overshadow the tree. You don't want to see the pot. You want to see the tree.
Exactly. The first thing you're looking at is supposed to be the tree, not the pot. All right, let's go on.
Okay, continue. Okay, so we're going on. This is my little Princess Persimmon. It is currently in a kind of a cream colored pot, round cream colored pot. It's a nice high-end Japanese pot. I really like this pot with this tree. Both the pot and tree are both very feminine, so it has to be a very feminine pot. And this is feminine because it has a rounded edge. It's round, it's glazed, it's got the nice scooped edges on it and the cute little feet that kind of mimic the persimmons. And I would probably always, if I was going to show this tree, it would be shown in the fall. So I would be concentrating on the fruit, accenting the fruit with the pot. So I'm going to be repotting this one this year as well. So let's take a look at some options that we have. So we first have a blue glazed round flare. It has a few masculine qualities to it because it has very straight lines to the sides and just kind of really simple feet, but it's also feminine in that it is glazed and it has a nice flared shape. So does this harmonize? Ask yourself, does this harmonize or contrast?
The blue is too sharp against the oranges.
Oh, well, we'll cover that when I get to the composites.
Thanks, Katie.
I jumped the gun, but that's okay. Okay, so next pot is a round unglazed rust colored pot. masculine in the fact that it is unglazed, but remember we said that, you know, you can have deciduous trees in unglazed pots, so keep that in mind. Feminine qualities, it's round, it has rounded sides. It has very cute little feet on it that also kind of mimic the shape of the fruit. So ask yourselves, harmonize or contrast. Next pot is a round glazed green ribbed. I think this is a totally feminine pot. I can't see anything masculine about this pot, so it goes really well with the very feminine tree. It's glazed, it's round, it has ribs, you know, which give it more intricate interest. Very cute little feet that are decorated, have little decorations on them, kind of mimic the shape of the fruit. So another, you know, very nice little pot. Oops. And this is a round glazed multicolored pot. It's feminine, it's glazed, it's round, it has slightly delicate feet. Does it harmonize or contrast? So let's go to our composite here and get comments from the audience.
I like number 3.
Number 3.
Why, Kitty?
Because the colors are going to mold well with the tree. There's no stark stand out there. It holds the tree with some depth so that you're not feeling the tree is going to fall over. And it's a nice, sturdy, very feminine, nice pot. The number 1's got too much color. Number 2 is too flat and doesn't go with the composition of the tree. Number 4 is the pot is far too busy.
Exactly.
You nailed it, Kitty.
Nailed it, Kitty.
Okay, any other comments?
Number 1 and number 3 makes the tree look very unstable.
Number 3 is okay.
Yeah, that's true.
I felt the
I
same
disagree
way.
with that. I disagree with that. I think the 3 holds it better than the other ones. The 3 has got a good base on it.
If it were a little bit bigger, maybe it wouldn't look quite so unbalanced.
Right. I think it's unbalanced to me too.
Yeah.
You guys are wrong. I don't think so.
Nobody's wrong, Kitty.
No right, no wrong answers.
It's what does the windstorm think?
What is a windstorm?
the windstorm.
Yes. Well, I have trees like this that are on my benches have tie downs, so
Yep.
they don't blow over. So if I had something in this pot, I would definitely have it tied down.
Renee,
Yes.
I would keep looking. I'm truly not, I don't like any of the colors,
Okay.
and size-wise, they don't work for me.
Okay. Well, you know, Dolores, I'm kind of with you. I'm not really that horribly excited about any of these. You know, when I repot it, I will probably just put it back in the pot that it's in for now and keep looking for something that really excites me. I love this green pot, this little green pot. I love it, but it could be for something else. I have a winter jasmine that has yellow flowers that would look really good with this. So,
Can you go back to the picture, the original picture?
yeah, let me I'll have to back up here a few slides. Oops.
That one.
Yeah.
That is a good pot.
That's the best one.
Great. I like that one too.
Yep. Unanimous.
Okay, well,
Well.
I kind of, you know, I like this pot the best too, and it's going to go back into this pot. But you know, it's always nice to look for options, consider different things, you know. So let's go click back through these guys and get to the next tree.
Okay, this is my Literati California Juniper. And was last year put in this pot. It's been slowly working its way down into what will hopefully be a nice Literati pot. So let's see what we've got. Our first pot is a round brown with a midrib, and it has a sheen to it. So it's not exactly, it's unglazed, but they must have had a slip that they put over it to give it that color because it has a shine. And it has the midrib that makes it slightly feminine. And size is not too bad. Mostly a little bit masculine because of the shape. All right, next pot. This is a round unglazed nanban. I can never pronounce it. Nanban. It's a Jim Kreml pot, and it has a little walk to it. And the 2 layers makes it somewhat feminine. Next pot. This is a round unglazed tan flared. I always think it looks like a saucer, like it's like a saucer, but it's kind of has an interesting smooth texture, and it's mostly feminine looking. The feet are simple, but okay, not bad. Next, this is a round reddish drum pot. It's a wall saw pot, and the drum pot with the sides makes it look pretty masculine. But let's see what everybody thinks. I like that you all have opinions, so which one?
I think I like number 3.
Number 3?
I like number 2.
But is that too overpowering?
2 and 3.
So we
Yeah, I like
have
number 3.
number 3.
Number 2 is too busy. Number 2 is too formal for that tree.
Which color do you like best? Number 3?
I like the number 3 pot. I wouldn't put it in that pot, but that's a better, of the 4 choices, that's the best choice.
I think number 2 sets it off better, color-wise. And
No, it detracts from the tree.
Well, it's a contrast between the red and green. The 2 colors do kind of go together.
If it didn't have little dots in the stripe, that would be different. But that detracts from the tree. You see the pot before you see the tree.
Okay, but people get to have their opinions, Kitty. Other
Oh,
people
no,
get
it's
to have
my
their
opinion.
opinions.
We're just
I
going by the
like
rule.
the balance or the imbalance of number 3 best.
The imbalance.
Well, that's what you want in a literati, though. The literati wants to look like it's falling forward.
Mhm. Well, I think that's what
I like
Kathy
number
was saying.
3, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably the most interesting, the most
Have you
literati.
have you thought about putting this on a black piece of slate?
I like a
That wouldn't be bad.
No. I don't think I would ever use, living in Reading, every time I think of putting a tree on a stone or on a flat surface, it freaks me out. So probably not gonna happen.
Yeah. Anything else? Anybody have any other opinions? If not, we will move on to our next tree.
Okay, this is our last tree. So this is my Scots pine. You saw that picture earlier. It's in an antique Chinese pot, so chances are we're not going to get a better pot than that. But let's look and see what our options are. This is an unglazed brown with scalloped corners. Pretty feminine for such a formal upright tree, but the color is a nice brown and the size is right. Next one. Well, this is the same unglazed 10 rectangle, but this picture, something happened and it washed it out. So I'm hoping we can all agree that although the size is right, and actually it used to be in this pot, but this pot is a much more of a taupe color. So it did used to be in this pot. This looks pretty bad, but the size is good. Okay, next. This is an unglazed rectangle with a lip, has some feminine with the bar across the front top and then the curved edges and the lip, and it looks kind of nice, maybe a little deep, but let's see. One more. This is an unglazed oval with a midrib. The feet are kind of high, so it floats a little bit, and it's a very feminine pot. So let's throw up all 4 of them. What do we think?
I like the number 1.
Okay.
Why?
It brings out the color, the darker colors in the trunk,
Mhm.
and it's formal, it's fancy, but isn't detracting. And it's gentle and flowing without being harsh, and it's just, it looks nice with that tree. The number 2 is way too bright. I don't know if that's the slide or the thing, but
It's the slide.
it wouldn't be bad if it was muted. It was more darker. Number 4 isn't bad. Number 3 is too square, too sharp.
Isn't that interesting? That's so interesting. Anybody else have opinions?
Number 1.
Like number 1, okay?
I agree.
Number 1.
What didn't you like about the original pot? It looked terrific.
Oh, I love the original pot. This is
Yeah.
this is an exercise.
I like the
We
first one
wanted-
too.
We wanted to have, yeah, me too. We wanted to have different kinds of trees, so they weren't all deciduous. So we went for a pine and a literati and one with fruiting, one with flowering. So that's how we chose the trees that we decided to use.
It's nice Scott let you use his tree.
Yeah, wasn't that nice?
Okay. Any other opinions here before we move into the garage and actually do some live matching of pots with trees? No? Okay, we're gonna move on.
You're gone.
Huh? Oh, I'm gone.
So Renee's going to set stuff up, and I'm going to read this because, as we have seen, these guidelines are not cast in stone, are frequently broken as the situation demands. They are an analysis of what works and what doesn't. Because the number of combinations available in both pots and trees, the actual choices can be infinite, and it sometimes can drive you crazy to try to find the right pot. Keep in mind that all rules seem to get broken. There are some guidelines and thoughts to help in choosing. So out to the garage we go. Okay. Renee! Okay, I'm going to move the pots for Renee, so you can decide which pot you like. And Renee's going to.
So what? Okay. So here we are again. This tree is a clump style shimpaku. It's a conifer, but it's a very feminine looking conifer. So probably want some kind of more of a feminine pot to go with it. So we've chosen oval. This is an oval, unglazed oval, but it has a nice finish on it, kind of a nice sheen and finish on it. It is more of a feminine pot. It's oval. It has ribs. It has cloud feet. So this pot would probably go nicely with this tree since it's a feminine tree and a feminine pot.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Look
This
familiar?
Yeah. This is Sarah Rayner pot. It is unglazed, but it has some kind of a sheen on it. It has a midrib, which gives it a little more of a feminine feel. It's oval, gives it a feminine feel, but there's, that's about, the most feminine qualities of this pot. So it looks like it's a little bit small, I would say, for that tree, but
You want to accentuate.
yeah, you want to accentuate the base. This tree, the base of the tree is what you want to, that's the first part of the tree you want the observer to focus on, is on that part on the base of the tree. So that's number 2.
Talk about the patina first.
Oh, okay. And this is a glazed rectangle, excuse me. That's a very old pot. It does not have a chop on it or anything, but it's got amazing patina, which I don't know, you probably can't even see that. Can see a little bit of it, yeah, you can see it. It's got beautiful patina on it. For those of you who don't know what patina is, it's something that develops on pots over time, and it's kind of, it adds to the feeling of the pot, you know, the age and the feeling. So this is glazed rectangle. Actually, it doesn't really look too bad. Although normally you would not choose a glazed pot to put a conifer in, but it's, you know, it might work. Okay, this is just a glazed, blue glazed pot, rectangle. It's just a production pot. It's nothing special, but it does have a nice blue glaze on it. Actually, this would look good with something with flowers on it, with white flowers. But anyway, once again, probably not the best choice for a conifer. It doesn't really complement the tree at all. So that's that one.
Okay.
And then this one is a round, this is kind of a non-bond looking pot. It's actually a nice Japanese pot. It has a chop on the bottom. I am not an expert on pots and chop identification, but this is a nice Japanese pot. But it's kind of, it doesn't really have any nice feminine qualities to it to complement the delicacy of the trees. So here we have like a very shallow, wide oval. This goes well with like groves and things like that. Actually, doesn't look too bad with it. It's a little bit big though, I think. I think it's a little large. Yeah, actually, I should comment on the fact that the pot that it's in now, I kind of don't like it. I don't think it does much to accent the clump style, the femininity of the clump style. So that's why I want to repot it into something else. I don't like the height of it. I don't like the way it's planted high in the pot. I mean, this one's so shallow. When I put it in this pot, I had to plant it pretty high because it's not a very deep pot. I don't like that look. So let's look at something else. So can we see that okay? It's kind of hard to see. Can you get up a little closer? Yeah, just to show the pot. Yeah, a little closer to show the pot. This is a Yamaaki pot, a high quality Japanese pot. It is a rectangle, but it has a lot of very feminine qualities to it. It has the lip and the ridge. It has this nice delicate design across the front, which kind of accents the movement of the trees. Nice delicate feet on it. I kind of like, I'm kind of partial to this pot. I'm leaning toward this for the repot. Is that all? Oh, one more. Oops. This is a shallow, unglazed rectangle. It's a very old pot. I don't know if any of you are familiar with what they call cherry star. These pots were imported, I guess, along to like back in the 50s or something like that. But they all have this this little, see that? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, this little stamped emblem on the bottom. They're actually very nice pots. They're not real expensive, but they're nice. They're very nicely made. So anyway, just a little history there. Cherry star, a rectangle with the rib around the edge that kind of softens the line of the pot. Actually, that doesn't look too bad either. It looks nice. Okay. So that's the pots that go with this tree. Does,
These four maybe?
yeah,
We run it down to these four, so.
yeah. We're gonna run, so, you know, our top choices, we're gonna run by you guys and see what you think.
Okay,
See which one you would choose.
so that's one.
So this is number one. What do you think about this one? Anybody have any comments?
No,
No. Okay. This one. Okay, so, well, why don't we just hold up the three here and see what, I don't know. We have 4 pots here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the oval, the shallow oval. We have the shallow rectangle with the rib. We have the Yamaaki and the oval with
Yamaaki.
the Yamaaki. Thank you, because that's the one I like.
the one
like that one too.
Carmen's holding?
The one that Carmen's holding, yes.
Yes.
And that one would look best.
Yeah, it's got a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shape.
I think
Okay.
so.
Yep.
I like the last
Well,
one best.
The last
The
one.
clump- that
No, this one. The square,
The square.
Yes,
that
that
one. You-
The straight
like that
line
one?
across the attraction of the tree.
it makes that tree look so much better.
It's the thin trunks, make that line goes with the thin trunks.
Yeah.
Because it makes it look like a lighter,
Yeah.
goes with the trunks very nicely.
Well, you know, once when I start to repot it, when I can take the tree out of the pot and actually set it in the new pot and actually see it in the pot, that helps a lot. So that's
Renee,
Yeah?
you have a comment in chat that someone says they think that the idea of introducing the pie ratio in general is desirable for bonsai. Has anyone considered fractals? On some of the example trees, it seems that the curvature in the tree could have been recapitulated in the curvatures of the potential pot. And I think that Yamaaki pot kind of did that, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, you know, actually, John Naka's books, in his Bonsai Techniques 1, he actually goes into the golden triangle, a lot of the math that goes along with design and fractals and stuff like that. But I didn't want to get into that tonight because I'm not sure I completely understand it myself. But I can refer you to John Naka's book, Bonsai Techniques 1, for those of you who really want to get into the mathematics of design. Very interesting, because it is very mathematical. But whoever asked that question, John Naka, he may be able to help you.
Okay, so Renee's gonna hand me. We're gonna next do the crabapple. Yeah, right here. Okay, so this is a Walt Brainerd's crabapple that I just bought not that long ago and wildly in love with it. So, and the friend is there. I don't like the pot. It's a beautiful pot. I think to me, this is a very masculine pot. So, but beautiful. I'll find something else to do with it. So our first pot we're going to try. So nice, feminine, love the color. I haven't not seen this. The leaves are just kind of that green color. I don't know what the flowers are. I assume they're white. Anyway, very nice Sarah Rayner pot. Oops, this is the other Sarah Rayner pot that is a light green and basically the same size, but it's same shape as that pot, but it's deeper. So the deepness might work better with this tree. Simple feet, but I like the glaze. And you can see, maybe you can you see? It's going to be harder now. It has a little bit of a red and the lip is darker. And if you flip it around, it's completely light green. So you have to look at both sides of the pot to decide. Okay. This is that blue-green soft rectangle that we saw earlier on the Photoshop. This one is interesting because you see this side is quite dark. I'm going to flip it around, and that's very bright, which is, I think, the one that was on the Photoshop. So if you really want high contrast and the tree can handle this bright of a blue, you can see all the design in the color. And I probably prefer the darker, little bit heavier, because this is a somewhat heavy tree, gnarly tree. So that's the glazed blue-green. Fourth pot, just to try another unglazed pot and an oval. This is a Vicki Chamberlain pot. It's pretty nice. It's got a little bit of a funny sheen to it. So I'm not sure if I like that one or not, but it looks okay. But if it's better than the one it's in because at least it's an oval. And my last pot, excuse me. And this is the glazed blue rectangle that we saw earlier. This is almost exactly the same size as the pot that it's in right now. And I know these things look huge. If you hold it up in the back like that, you can see it's basically the same size. So don't worry so much about the size, more the color and the shape for these. And I really love this pot. It's an inexpensive production pot. I think it only cost me $50, but it's got patina and it looks pretty nice. I think with the flowers, and then I've only got 2 berries left, 2 crab apples, but you could see how that color would go really nicely, as with the other Sarah Rayner one. Okay. Favorites?
Favorites. Let's see, run them just run them through there again. What is
Turn the tree counterclockwise a little bit. I'm talking about just the design of it. Yes. Keep
Oh
turning.
yeah,
the tree.
I've got a little chopstick right there.
Yeah.
So yes, the front is right there. And I am going to repot it.
The angle just didn't look quite right to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just me.
Okay. Do you have a pot preference?
So we have that one. We have
I like that
Lighter
blue one.
the lighter
The
blue.
lighter blue, the darker blue on the other side, and the dark blue pot are just too much. You
Dark
see,
blue is
that's all you see. You don't see the tree.
Ah, for the dark blue pot.
Lighter side of that one you just had up there, I like
This
that.
one,
That one.
that blue.
Yes,
Yeah.
with the rounded
Okay.
corners and all.
Let's try the Sarah Rayner one. This one's too light.
Too light, too light.
Too light.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Okay.
And
This one's
When
too
those
shallow.
leaves come in, the crabapple leaves are a good size.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Green. And that one's probably too shallow. Okay. So we got it down to that one.
so it looks like this is the fan
The
favorite
winner
here.
for that one.
Okay. So now, let's try.
They all come over here, except for the ones that are also. Let's just do the pine and call it good. Ugh. Last tree. Yeah, this way. Last tree is Renee's black pine, kind of a literati style. Oh no, actually Renee's going to talk about it. Earbuds.
Oh, earbuds.
Okay, so here we have Japanese black pine. It is in kind of just a production Chinese pot. It's kind of a feminine pot, kind of has an interesting glaze on it. Doesn't really look too bad. Has cut corners. This tree is more of a literati style. It's tall, a little more feminine looking, has really nice bark and a great base on it. But the tall, slender trunk and sparser foliage make this kind of a literati style. It's not exactly literati, but it's literati style. It's more feminine. So actually, this is a more feminine pot that it's in right now, and it, it doesn't work too bad. So let's try some different pots. I don't know. Is that, oh, I guess we need some blocks. That's kind of a heavy one. Yeah. Is that good? Whoops. It's got to come up in the back more, huh? Not much. Okay. So this is a square. It's a rectangle. Has a lip and nice feet, a little bit more delicate feet, a scoop to the sides. So that gives it more feminine characteristics, which would go well with the tree. It's a little bit big, but I think the shape is nice. I kind of like the shape. Anything you can think of to say, Carmen, about this pot?
Great color.
Great color. Has a gray, kind of a grayish color to it.
Green almost.
But it's huge. Actually, it's kind of big. Yeah, that's not going to work. So now we have. Here, I put one in the back too. Here we have a rectangle. It actually has a very similar look to the one that it's in. It's smaller. It has a different color, kind of a red color to it, rather than the grayish color that the pot that it's in.
This was in our Photoshop array also.
Yes, this was in
I
our
like that.
Photoshop array. It's a really nice pot, but it's kind of small. Not. What do you think, Carmen?
If the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits, I don't think that shoe's gonna.
With a
I
shoe
don't
horn.
think that shoe's gonna fit.
Shoe horn. Okay.
More. Got it. Okay.
That works.
Okay. So here we have an oval, more feminine pot. It's oval. It has the rim around the top. It has cloud feet. So those are all feminine characteristics. It's unglazed, so that makes it a little more masculine. This tree, it could probably go in something with these feminine characteristics. It's got a nice color, a nice sheen on it, nice pot. Okay.
I don't know. You have to wait and see.
Have
What's
you
that?
considered a totally round pot?
I have, but I don't have one. I don't have a round pot that I could.
Other than that big Kim pot.
Well,
That's- You're just, yeah.
well, we could put that up
Try
there,
the
see
Kim
what it
pot.
looks like. Where do we put it?
This one, I'll find it.
Okay, so here we have another. This is a unglazed rectangle. It does have a lip on it, which makes it slightly more feminine. But that's about, that's about the only feminine characteristics to this pot. This is more of a masculine pot that I can see like Carmen Scots pine in, rather than this kind of literati style. So we have what we call these Kim pots, and this is a round. Actually, these are great growing pots. They're low fired, nice clay. The guy that did these, I guess, was a local potter and worked with Murayama and made a lot of these. And a lot of people in this area have Kim pots, and they all cherish them dearly because they're great growing pots. They look nice. They don't actually have a smooth finish or anything, but they're just, they're attractive. They make nice growing pots. I do like the round pot for this. If I had a nice round pot, that would probably be what I would look at to plant this tree in.
Doesn't make it that dark. It makes it a little bit darker, but not a big deal.
Yeah, it doesn't really do that much to it. So anyway, those are choices for the pine. Most of them are masculine, with some of them with feminine characteristics.
Oh, did we do this?
Oh, we didn't do that one yet. Oh, one last pot. This is oval. That's a more of a shallow oval. Feminine characteristics, oval, rib, nice feet. It's unglazed, red kind of color clay. I like the color of this pot with this tree, but I don't know about the oval. I don't know about the
Will it
shallow
fit in
oval.
that pot?
Oh, yeah.
You think it would look good in that pot?
It would fit. in that
Yeah,
pot.
if
It
it'll
would.
fit.
It would fit in that pot. Yes, it would. Yes, it would fit in that pot.
I like that pot too.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that it's feminine. I mean, you want something with some feminine.
Some feminine
And,
characteristics, yeah.
Renee, one of the things about it, if you laid it on its side and measured it, would it be about 3/4 of the height of the tree?
Well, you know what? I can go get my, let
Oh,
me get my tape
I mean,
measure.
from the
Oh, from the,
base of the tree to the top of the tree. I'm just trying to bring your math back in.
bring the math back. Yeah, let's get some
Yeah.
math into this. Okay, well, here I have my trusty tape measure. So this pot is about 18.5 inches.
Okay, now go up.
So now let's see what the height of this tree is. The height of this tree is about, whoops, 34 inches. So what's 2/3 of 34?
Well, 34 divided by 3 times 24.
24.
24? 24. 2/3 of 34 is 24?
22.
22?
I'll buy that.
Okay. Well, this pot is about 19. So it doesn't quite fit the formula, but hey,
It's pretty close, and
It's
who
pretty
knows what you're
close.
gonna do if you water it out the top.
yeah.
Stretch.
Stretch it out a bit, huh? Well, actually,
I don't
but then you,
think that-
okay. Okay, what you have to do, not only do you have to consider, you know, what Carmen was talking about when she was going over the dimensions and the standard formula, is that when you have, if you want to make the pot wider or narrower, then you have to change the depth. So what is the width of this tree? The trunk of this tree is like 3 inches. And the depth of this pot is 3 inches. I usually just measure the pot itself.
Was somebody else going to say something? I heard somebody.
Did
Yeah,
we have a comment?
Yeah, the golden rule, you break that because this is a lot literati style tree and not the proportions are wrong. So you break the
Exactly.
rule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're breaking the rules because this is not classic. A classic tree would be, you know, about here, maybe even here for the size of the trunk. So we get to throw all that out and go with our guts. So guts say that looks kind of nice. It's kind of a growing pot. It's not quite ready for prime time.
It's not,
So
yeah,
it's going to be a few years to ramify.
yeah,
So
that might look good
work
in
nicely.
there. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna repot it this year, so we'll see what it looks like if I put it in this pot.
It's
We'll,
definitely cramped in the pot it's in.
yeah,
It needs some more room to grow.
right. And I like the oval because it gives more width or depth, you know, front to back. You have more room for the tree to grow.
2 chops. Very
Renee?
nicely.
Yeah,
I think the 2 red ones set the tree off, I think, color-wise, much better. And I'm wondering, with the shallow oval that you're thinking of, can you offset where you plant it?
yes, yes. It would be planted slightly to the right, the tree's leaning to the left. So it would be offset to the right a bit. That would probably look very nice. That would look really nice. Yes.
Can you offset it even a little bit more and slightly off center? Would that help the proportions?
Um,
That's almost centered. So offset this way?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
too
not
far.
quite so much, but yeah.
that's
right there.
Okay, but just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I think that would work. That would work very nicely. Very nicely.
Since you have movement on the tree, and that would,
Yeah,
show that.
That would look very nice, yes.
Well, we've had some surprises tonight, haven't
Yes, we have.
I didn't know where this was gonna
Go.
go. This is kind of fun. Well, except for shutting, except for losing our feed. Yeah.
Okay.
We're done.
Well, I was gonna share, where did I put my books? So in conclusion, we're kind of done with our program. Just some references for you guys. This is what the books I was talking about, John Naka's Bonsai Techniques 1. There's a section here in the front. Whoops, where did it go? Where he goes into all the mathematical stuff. And there. He goes into the mathematical stuff, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden triangle. So if you want to get into that, it's a good reference. He also has a really nice section in the
Renee?
bonsai. Yes.
When you look at the mathematics you're using for the bonsai, that's the same thing a painter does with their painting.
Yes.
If you
Well,
look at
it's
the painting,
art.
it's thirds. Yeah.
Yes. It's all artistic principles. Same thing with paintings, with anything. Applies to
Keep it in
bonsai art as
balance
well.
and take the viewer to the subject.
Yes. So in Bonsai Techniques 2, he has a nice section on pots. He goes into a lot of the selecting and changing pots. He goes into the different chops. You know, he has references to the different Japanese pot makers and chops and stuff like that. So very, very good reference for selecting pots. Other thing is to really get inspired, you know, I recommend looking at lots of pictures. And one of the great places to look at pictures of pots and trees are the Kokofo exhibition books. And they have all kinds of really beautiful, beautiful photos of pots, trees, you know, combinations. Just kind of flip through these guys and get some feeling for things and ideas to give you ideas for what you might want to do with your trees.
Where do you find those books?
I found mine on, there's that bonsai auction site on Facebook. You know, they come up online on the auctions and stuff like that periodically. I also got one in a raffle. I won one in a raffle. So just keep your eyes peeled. They're great. They're great books. And there is also a website. What's the guy's name?
Ryan Bell.
Ryan Bell. Ryan Bell.
Japanesepots.com.
Japanesepots.com. It has every pot shop you can possibly imagine.
And he has some amazing blogs about different potters, and I've got some of the information about the female, male, the feminine, masculine percentages. He went through all that, and that's what I started using it. It was kind of fun. So
There's a
amazing
difference.
reference.
Renee, there's a difference between the Chinese pots and the Japanese pots too, because the Chinese go to more the organic kind of pots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely differences. People just have to kind of shop around and get ideas, and then and the final parting shot here is, once you find you decide what the perfect pot is, good luck finding it. It's like, no matter how many pots you have, you never have the perfect pot.
Well, you
So just
find
kind
the
of,
perfect one and you get your tree potted, then you come along and you find a better perfect one.
yeah. Well, sometimes there's not a perfect. You kind of have to, pick the best you have and go with it. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Anything you want to add, Carmen?
No, it turned out very nicely. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So
Well, nice to
guys,
see everyone.
Nice to see you all. Thank you all for coming. Good to see all the new faces and people, and thank you for all of your contributions and comments to help make our program better. Thank Thank you.
Thanks for all your
I'll see
efforts
you in
putting
person.
this together.
Okay.
Thank
Very
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.